Alright, let's go murder a knight.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Murdering Lore Souls. Let's go kill a knight. The best knight there ever was, and I'm not even exaggerating.
I mean, out of all the bosses so far, I think Artorias, yeah, he takes the cake. Kind of kills it.
So there's two of my favorite bosses are in this game, are DLC bosses. They were spoken about, obviously, before the DLC was even a thing and before it was announced, stuff like that. Excuse me, do you mind? Which is Artorias and Manus, Father of the Abyss. Obviously, when we get to Manus, I'll talk more about him. He's not tough, but he is definitely somebody I'm going to want help with, because he can kick my ass real quick. You can summon Sif halfway through his fight. Actually, you can summon Sif from the beginning, but it's not worth it, because he kicks really, really hard. And he does magic spells. So, either I get a human person, which would be, the best pick, or I just summon the wolf halfway through the fight. That way, he doesn't die outright. One of my other favorite characters of this game, this guy, and there's a rumor, it's still speculation, it's never been proven, but this is the idea of where Bloodborne came from. This is a very Victorian-looking dude. His name is Chester. He's got that very British accent.
Let me guess. Snatched by a shadowy limb and dragged off to the past?
We say yes, and his response is...
Yes, of course. Exactly what happened to me. We are both strangers in this strange land. But at least now there are two of us.
Such a strange, strange land.
So the idea was that he was from the Bloodborne area. And same deal like how we got taken into the DLC. He got taken somewhere from the Bloodborne-ish area and ended up here. That is pure rumors. Because Bloodborne came out a couple years later. Because Dark Souls 2 was a thing. And it was taken over by a different part of From Software that didn't focus on Dark Souls 1 or Bloodborne. Hey, get out of my way, you big, awesome jerk. Okay, now I'm good. Fuck. So, I mean, it's never been proven, and I mean, obviously, there are some doubts. I sometimes doubt it, because this is way ahead of Bloodborne. But it does make sense, and it's a really cool theory, and I like it. Because Bloodborne is also one of my favorite games.
Well, like, it's still... So, did the DLC come out before Bloodborne, or not?
Oh, very, very much before Bloodborne. I was like, he did not just get us off.
I mean, I could, like, see it being, like, debunked and all that, but also I could see, like, because of the fact that, like, I'm pretty sure, like, Bloodborne was, like, in, like, early development in the point.
Yes, at that point, actually no, at this point, Chester was already been a thing, and Dark Souls 2 was under development, from one part of From Software, while, Miyazaki was working on Bloodborne, which is part of the reason why it didn't do as well, is because it had a different director. Ow. Which makes sense. That's part of the reason why Bloodborne was so well received and Dark Souls 2 was not. Because Miyazaki didn't have a hand in it at all. Meanwhile, Miyazaki was the director of Bloodborne. Miyazaki's also the same one that made literally all the Dark Souls games. Or I should say Souls games as a whole, other than Dark Souls 2.
And so, yeah, now I get more why, like, people are not that interested with Dark Souls 2, because...
Well, no, it's not that it was because it wasn't through Miyazaki, it's because it was very much not the same thing.
Yeah, and I get it, because you don't have, like, the same development team.
It's very different, yeah. Dark Souls 1, 3, and Bloodborne are all very much, like, they feel like a Miyazaki game.
I still cannot say, like, like, of course, like, I don't think Dark Souls 2 is very bad, and I think it's mostly because, like, like, I'm okay with it because of the fact that, like, I never really played Dark Souls, so I didn't know, like, anything about it except for, like, 2. Same thing with, like, Kingdom Hearts 3, I was never really that interested in it, and I guess that kind of like makes my experience more different than like, you know, a guy that's been bleeding out this game.
I played Kingdom Hearts when Chain of Memories was a thing. That was when I started. So Kingdom Hearts 1 had already come out, but I never played it at the time. Chain of Memories had just come out recently. Kingdom Hearts 2, I think... I don't remember if Kingdom Hearts 2 came out or if Chain of Memories came out first. I think Chain of Memories came out first. I mean, I was into it. I mean, I'm not going to say it's like the fucking greatest game ever. It's mad confusing.
Of course.
And for Xbox players, they were like, cool, we can play these games now. And a lot of people were like, okay, but why? We haven't played a single one. I've never been on a single playable thing to us. Woo! Sorry, Artorias. Don't hurt me.
I remember playing a little bit of like Kingdom Hearts 2. I played a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 3. I was never that big of a fan, but then
they're
again,
good games, but they're not for everybody. I'll tell you outright. They're not.
Well,
for
also
everybody.
I wasn't like that big of a fan of like Final Fantasy. Though.
See, that's why I geared towards Kingdom Hearts originally first, because I was into Final Fantasy, because I lived in Hollywood, next to a girl who had introduced me to it. She introduced me to 7, 9, no, not 9, yes, part of 9 and 10, because I remember specifically, Yuna.
Yeah.
Yuna was one of the first ones I can remember in the Final Fantasy series as a whole. He's dead.
Oh, you got him.
So I was always a big Final Fantasy person because of her, and, you know, she was a cool person, and I liked her. Not in a romantic way, but I was like, oh, this girl's cool, and she's into the same stuff I am. So she introduced me to that, and I was like, oh, I'm very interested, and blah, 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 it's really cool. There we go, there's my souls. Hell yeah. 73k, 72.5k, excuse me.
Oh my god, just picked up a lot.
So when Kingdom Hearts came out, and they're like, oh, it's Disney with its own unique thing, as well as Final Fantasy, so I was like, alright, I'll look into it, that sounds interesting. And I was very into it. But, you know, by the time, like, Kingdom Hearts... Fuck, what was it? Probably like 3.5 or 3.5, 2 over 8 days or 7 days had come out. It was already a shit show of a game because people were like, I don't fucking understand what is going on. Which is a big mistake in the whole Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts lore. Because it's a fucking mishmash. The issue. It's a fucking nightmare.
Oh, I'm bad. But then again, I wasn't that big into. I wasn't like that big of like, and like those kinds of games. Like I wasn't very much into. With Final Fantasy, like, you know, I got introduced to 7. Of course, I got introduced to 10. 10 was probably the one I remember the most, only because like, you know, it was for the PS2. I had a PS2. My mom came by, said like, I got Final Fantasy. I'm like, I never played it, but I'll play it. I like the game. I won't say like it's a bad game. No Final Fantasy is like really like awful, but
that's
like
not true.
It's just not my style.
Debatably, number 15 is awful. I mean, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite, but it's definitely it did the least well amongst all the Final Fantasy games.
The whole like, you know, like it's supposed to be like the whole call aspect and shit like that. And it makes me feel like, is this like shot in like Las Vegas or something?
Oh, for Final Fantasy 15? Yeah, they're in a car.
Yeah. It's
just 4 dudes who are like very nonchalant and shit. It's very much not, it doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy game. Which, I mean, it's a good game, it's just very different, that's the issue. I liked it. I never finished it, I'll be honest with you. But I liked it. I thought it was one of the more interesting games that they put out that derived from the games. In 16, which is not out yet while we're playing this, it looks promising.
I mean, I was told by Charles that like Charles wants to play it, but also he plays every Final Fantasy game and Kingdom Hearts, and he's just that kind of fan. I get that. But there was who was the guy with the black hair in Final Fantasy 15?
15? I don't remember. The guy with the glasses? Or do you mean the main character?
I guess he's the main character.
Noxus.
Yeah. Okay. So. There's a DLC in Tekken where he's a playable character.
Really? Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Him and Negan from The Walking Dead. Like, they're both in the game. And I'm gonna tell you, both of them, I do not like.
Really? That's funny.
I mean, yeah, because Tekken is more of like a fighting style game. Negan has a fucking spike bat.
Of course he does.
And then the Final Fantasy guy, he just goes around with the sword, so he's like a more annoying Yoshimitsu.
No! I just realized
What
something.
happened?
So in order to beat Manus, I need a specific weapon, or a specific item. In order to get specific item, I need to have light. I can't cast light, so that means I can only use one other thing. A skull lantern. In order to get the skull lantern, I have to go down to the Tomb of the Giants. Tomb of the Giants is one of the least fun areas to be in. Fuck you.
And why is that?
Because it's so dark and you can die outright. Hey, excuse me. See ya. Holy shit, don't hurt me. It is scary as shit without a lantern. You know what? Maybe we'll just go get the fucking lantern. We'll get down to the Tomb of the Giants. I'll explain. Oh shit, how do I get down there safely is the question now. Hey pal. Because in order to beat Manus, I need a certain weapon that deflects his magic. Otherwise, I'm just getting my ass kicked. And it's pointless. But, you know, let's get to the next one. Bonfire? Nah, too far away from here. We're just gonna go back to the safe bonfire. Alright, so in the next episode, we're gonna go down to the Tomb of the Giants to get said weapon, said item. I guess technically it's a weapon.
I'm kind of excited because of that name.
Oh, you're gonna love it, and I'm gonna hate it.
It's not like when I was excited about Royal Wood, even though, you know.
Because it wasn't really royal, and there's not a lot of wood, and it's a lot of derivation. Hey, look, it's our friend, that boy.
It's misleading.
But I want to see if my life reset or not. Nope, I'm normal. Well, that's disappointing.
Nope, I still have the same life.
No, I mean, you've seen the glitches at this point. Alright, so in the next episode, we'll end up at the Tomb of the Giants. So we'll see you guys then.
Yeah, I'd see you then.